Krishna.
So you have, I mean, the time is, yeah, so the time is going to be at least, I mean, you can take 45 to 50 minutes and the rest can be Q&A.
Okay. I will try. I think 35 minutes I will take. So I will begin.
Sure. Sure. Whenever you're ready, yeah.
Just a minute. I think my slides are visible.
Yes.
It's completely fine, the slides.
Yeah.
So I thank IPN community to give me this opportunity to present my work and discuss with all of you. So today the title of my presentation is Philosophical Explorations of Dream Consciousness, Metaphysical and Ontological Debate. You can see a guy here sleeping and dreaming peacefully. So I will explore in this paper how dreams are conscious experiences and imaginative, conscious and imaginative experiences. So dreams have been a relevant topic for philosophical discussion and inquiry for ages, captivating humanity since the earliest moment of our recorded history. And dreaming has drawn more philosophical attention during the 20th century, which has changed discussions around issues in the philosophy of mind. Philosophers, psychologists, and neuroscientists uphold a variety of viewpoints regarding dreams and dream experiences. A substantial portion of scholars do not subscribe to the idea that dreams qualify as conscious experiences, whereas an opposing perspective emphasizes the recognition of dreams as conscious phenomena. Some philosophers have been doubtful regarding the ontology of dreams in real life, as real life experiences are different from dream experiences. In early modern philosophy, René Descartes mentioned a dream argument in his Meditations on First Philosophy, which states that dreams and the waking world may contain the same information. He claims that there is enough similarity between the two experiences to regularly deceive dreamers into thinking they are genuinely awake while they are asleep and dreaming. However, on the other hand, extensive evidence has been provided to argue that dreams are not experiences, perceptions, sights, ideas, illusions, or deceptions experienced while one is asleep. Norman Malcolm and Daniel Dennett are two proponents who criticize Descartes in his received view of dreaming, being critical of the idea that dreaming is a conscious experience during sleep. Dream experiences for them during sleep are not conscious experiences, as they question whether the content of dreams can genuinely be considered as part of conscious experiences. While recent philosophers such as Owen Flanagan, Jenifer Windt, and Evan Thompson have challenged this traditional skepticism surrounding the consciousness of dreams, their critiques aim to reconsider the prevailing notion that dreams lack true consciousness, proposing instead that dream experiences should be acknowledged as genuine and authentic expressions of consciousness. The concept of lucid dreams and their distinctions from ordinary dreams are also explored to cultivate more nuanced perspective on dream experiences and establish dreaming as conscious phenomena. So this paper highlights the inter and intra conflict among philosophers concerning the notion of consciousness and dreaming, foregrounding the diversity and intricacies inherent in the study of dream experiences. This paper dwells into the inter-conflict among philosophers, highlighting the disagreement between those like Malcolm and Dennett, who do not perceive dreams as conscious experiences, and others such as Flanagan, Windt, and Thompson, who regard dreams as conscious experiences that are meaningful to life. Moreover, I will also discuss the intra-conflict among philosophers who accept dreams as conscious experiences but argue whether these experiences should be classified as hallucinations or imaginations. Windt posits that the perspectives that dreams should be characterized as hallucinatory perceptual experiences, emphasizing the sensory and perceptual qualities inherent in dreaming. This viewpoint implies that the mind generates perception during dreams that mimic reality but are not grounded in external stimuli. In contrast, Thompson challenges Windet's stance, offering a counter argument that frames dreams as spontaneous imaginative experiences. This perspective suggests that the content of dream arises from the creative and imaginative faculties of the mind. Thompson prioritizes the first person perspective and subjective experiences with when exploring the realm of dreams, highlighting that the richness of individual experiences often goes beyond what can be measured or observed externally. So in this paper, I will discuss two hypotheses, namely dream experiences as conscious experiences, and the imaginative mind unfolds the intentional content of dream experiences. In the first section of this paper, I offer a comprehensive exploration of the meaning, causes, characteristics, and types of dreams, delving into the complex differentiation between waking and dream consciousness. In the second section, I will discuss about the metaphysics of dreaming, specifically addressing the question, are dreams conscious experiences? In the third section, I will tackle with the ontology of dreaming, focusing on the central question, are dream experiences real? In the fourth section, which is the final section, we will concentrate on the Thompson's explication of the dream state and dream consciousness, comprehensively examining the metaphysical and ontological foundation of the concept of dreaming. And I will also explicate Thompson's concept of dreams as spontaneous imaginative experiences. So in the first section, exploring the dream realm, understanding meaning and significance. So dreams are fascinating and intricate realm of consciousness that has always provoked us or provoked our mind. And this is the quote: "We spend a third of our lives sleeping, and a significant portion, at least a fifth, or probably more, of that third is occupied by dreams." So dreaming is a worldwide dynamic condition that offers complete experiential absorption in the topic at hand, exactly like in the awake state. The brain is equally alive and active during dreaming as it is during wakefulness, and the intensity, immersion, and the sense of realism of conscious experiences are all similar. So the question arises, what are dreams? Dreams are a series of thoughts, feelings, noises, or images that cross our minds as we sleep, offering a unique conscious experience. Dreaming is a heightened state of awareness in which images and fantasies, as well as memories and present worries, are used to develop imaginative theories. Dreams are alluring because they offer an experience that transcends mere objective presence. Dreams are the imaginative capacity of our mind, which helps us experience the inner world in the way we want. Thompson defines dreams as a dream isn't a random false perception, it's a spontaneous mental simulation, a way of imagining ourselves in the world. So the key to comprehend the complexities of dream experiences is realizing the difference between dream form and dream content. Dream form encompasses the organization, narrative flow, and sensory elements like colors, sounds, and textures that make up a dream, as well as its structural and sensory aspects. It focuses on the general structure of the dreaming state and the way the dream develops. In contrast, dream content explores the particulars of the dream, including the characters, settings, things, and situations. It dwells deeper beyond the obvious to examine the symbolic and emotional meaning of these components, providing a glimpse into dreamers' inner world. So, what are the causes and characteristics of dreams? So the precise cause of dreaming is unknown. It is thought to be related to the complex interaction of neurological, physiological, and psychological elements. Dreams develop independently of sensory input and external stimuli, implying that they originate in our brains or minds. So thus dreams are all in our heads. The activation synthesis model is a widely accepted theory which proposes that dreaming originates from random neuronal activity in the brainstem and that the brain interprets these signals. Dreams are also considered the complex product of our unique memories, cognitive, affective abilities, and the leftovers from the recent waking world. Dream narratives often have a flexible, non-linear structure that includes rapid shifts in theme or scene. Thus, emotional streams, bright images, distortions in space and time can be seen by those who dream. Dreams in this sense may be unique and bizarre, constituted and shaped by mix of feelings, memories, cognitive abilities, and personal experiences. We know that dreams make sense to us as they make us construct the narrative we want from our mental simulation and imaginative capacity. So next I will discuss about types of dreams. Dreams can be primarily characterized into four types: rapid eye movement dreams, non rapid eye movement dreams, lucid dreams, and non lucid dreams. Firstly, REM dreams can be distinguished from NERM dreams, as during REM sleep, our eyes dart around behind our closed lids, whereas during non REM sleep, our eyes are comparatively still under the lids. We dream in both REM and non-REM sleep phases, but compared to REM dreams, non-REM dreams are less imagistic and more contemplative. Conversely, REM dreams are vivid and frequently have strange, surreal, or fragmented narratives. So, dreams are more proactive and intense during REM when brain activity increases. Secondly, lucid dreams can be distinguished from non lucid dreaming as dreamers' degree of awareness and control during lucid dreaming is different from that of ordinary dreaming. People usually have less ability to think and reason about the dream state, and no deliberate control over the content of dream in non-lucid dreams. On the other hand, lucid dreaming entails having a heightened state of consciousness while dreaming, which enables people to identify that they are dreaming and in certain situations exercise deliberate control over the dreamscape. The difference between regular dreaming and lucid dreaming is that the former is characterized by conscious control and cognitive engagement, while the latter is more subconscious and passive. Uh, so Owen Flanagan says that a lucid dreaming is a state of consciousness which have the features of both waking and non-lucid dreaming. So next is how dream consciousness is different from waking consciousness. The distinction between the waking and dreaming consciousness is based on perception and experience. The former is related to external stimuli, while the latter is about the internal stimuli. People are normally awake, aware of their environment, and responding to outside stimuli when they are in waking consciousness. Thompson states that waking consciousness relates to the outer world and apprehends the physical body as self. In contrast, dreaming consciousness is a state of consciousness that arises during the REM phase of sleep and is distinguished by a vivid and frequently strange inner experience. According to Thompson, dream consciousness relates to mental images constructed from memories and apprehends the dream body as self. When one dreams, one suspends their awareness of the outside world and creates an imaginary world in which their emotions, perceptions, and sense of time and space exist. In dreaming consciousness, it is possible to experience the impossible: flying, time travel, transforming into an animal, and communicating with the dead, etc. Waking consciousness, on the other hand, is bound to the outside world and reasonable reasoning, while dreaming consciousness is not. So now, finally, understanding this dream lucidity. In I will discuss this only in brief, then move to the next section. Lucid dreaming serves as a bridge between the realms of dreaming and wakefulness. Lucid dreaming is when we are consciously aware that we are dreaming, having both the aspects of dreaming and being awake. With the basic structure of dreaming in our mind now, we need to explore how lucidity differs from ordinary dreams and waking experiences. When a dreamer experiences lucidity, they acknowledge that the dream for what it is, a dream, a representation of reality. Lucidity and waking experiences complement each other, but they are different in the sense that focused and goal oriented behavior is better experienced during waking consciousness. It is different from the waking experiences as we can experience our unfulfilled desires and the unimagined aspects of our mind in this state. When we are lucid, we can see through the curtain separating our waking and dreaming minds and experience both states of awareness at once. So, finally, moving to the second section. In this section, I will discuss this question: are dreams conscious experiences, and some recent critiques and some criticism about the same. So, as I have discussed in my introduction, that several philosophers have debated whether dreams constitute a conscious experiences while asleep, or if they merely represent a recollection of memories or an illusionary reality. The received view of dreaming, accepted by philosophers like Aristotle, Descartes, Flanagan, and Thompson, is a prominent stand in this debate. This view is accepted by folk psychology and philosophy as a form of mental state or consciousness which is experienced while we are asleep. So, discussing received view of dreaming in little detail, the received view of dreaming refers to a philosophical perspective that considers dreams as experiences that occur solely within the mind of the dreamer, without being influenced by any external or objective reality. This view holds that dreams play out approximately in real time and do not happen in a flash. Upon awakening from a dream, individuals do not retain inaccurate or deceptive memories associated with the dream experience. There might be instances where we cannot recall every detail of a particular segment of our dream, but we do not fabricate memories of a dream that never happened. So, in this sense, the activities and the movements which we can perform while being awake can also be performed while we are dreaming. In the dreaming state, we can have all the power of mental states such as believing, judging, reasoning, and thinking as we have in our waking experiences. Owen Flanagan, in his work, which is very monumental in shaping our current research on dreaming, which is named Dreaming Souls, Sleep, Dreams, and Evolution of Conscious Mind, suggests three worrying facts about this received view. So, first one is many people claim never to remember dreaming. Some think they don't dream at all. The second point is many people claim to remember that they have dreamed, but to confess to no ability to recall what they dreamed about. And the third one is among those who claim to remember their dreams, there are no comforting modes of confirming the report since dream experiences are completely private. It is unclear in the case alleged dream experiences that how we could gain the confidence about what was actually experienced during sleep similar, say to the sort of confidence an optometrist has about the experiences of a person reading an eye chart in her office. Nevertheless, Flanagan agrees with the received view of dreaming that they are experiences that occur during sleep. Next, I move to the criticism by Normal, Malcolm, and Dennett. So, first I will discuss about Malcolm's criticism of this received view of dreaming. Malcolm challenges this view by creating a sharp discontinuity between waking and dreaming experiences, suggesting that there might be a continuum between waking and dreaming experiences. Dreams for Malcolm are singular, unexplainable phenomena. He rejects the idea that dreams are made of ideas, sensations, feelings, images, and other such elements. According to him, dreams, if considered to be conscious experiences during sleep for a definite time and duration, are unintelligible. He points out that dream reports are insufficient to believe the metaphysical claim that dreaming consciously takes place during dreaming. He, he defends his position by emphasizing that there is no factual proof that a person was conscious during the dream if they wake up remembering it. Because the dream felt so real, the dreamer will typically acknowledge that they were unaware that they were dreaming. This challenges the received view's assertion that we remember dreams in all trueness and they are real experiences. He argues that the received view is inaccurate as dream reports relate to memory, but our memory is not always correct. It can be misleading. So, Flanagan points out the structure of Malcolm's argument in following way. The received view is that dreams are experiences that take while we are asleep. Our only evidence that this is so comes from reports awake people give. An awake report gives at most an indication that a dream occurred during sleep. It follows according to the principle of verification, which says that it is impossible to refer to a thing if in no case do we have better than indication of its presence or absence. That we are not referring to anything. That is, we are speaking senselessly or intangibly when we speak of dreams as experiences that occur during sleep. So Malcolm argues that asserting the occurrence of dream experiences during sleep is senseless and dreams do not provide any grounding for philosophical skepticism. Any effort to verify dream experiences would only indicate that individual was awake, making it impossible to conclusively confirm the occurrence of dreams during sleep. He is inspired by the remarks of Wittgenstein, as Malcolm argues that the concept of dreaming is derived not from dreaming, but from description of dreams, that is, from the familiar phenomena that we call telling a dream. Malcolm posits that conscious experiences are tied to wakefulness only, and to regard dreaming experiences as conscious is meaningless. Dreams are not experiences if experiencing something includes thinking, feeling, believing, etc. Thus, Malcolm raises three possible arguments against this view, which can be summarized as follows. So, these are the three arguments. However, I will not discuss this in detail. Here, dream reports are unreliable and can be disputed. The concept of sleep is at odds with the concept of dreams. Communication and judgment are considered implausible during sleep. So next I move to Dennett's criticism is cassette theory. Like Malcolm, Daniel Dennett has also criticized the received view of dreaming by proposing cassette theory of dreaming. In his theory, he analyzes the processing of the brain during sleep and asserts that dreams are not consciously experienced, but merely unconsciously recorded in a subsequent recall. Dennett's theory entails an analysis of anecdotal and clinically documented dream reports in which the content of the dream climax, the instant just before or during awakening, seems to be significantly influenced by the external stimuli that cause the dreamers to wake up. As an example, a loud sound in the room could mean that dreamer gets shot just as they wake up. Or to quote Dennett himself, the sound of a goat bleating rhythmically matches up perfectly with the sound of an alarm clock waking him up. The cassette theory suggests that dream narratives are not fully constructed during sleep, but rather at the moment of awakening. It proposes that brain rapidly assembles and presents the dream in response to external stimuli, creating a narrative that aligns with the circumstances of waking up. And the cassette theory of dreaming claims that dreaming is a two-way process, a memory loading process that makes it possible to remember dreams when you wake up, and a composition process that creates dream narratives while we sleep. The main distinction between the received view and the cassette theory is that the former view, the received view, portrays dreaming as a conscious experiential process occurring during sleep. Cassette theory, on the contrary, maintains that dreams are not consciously experienced during sleep, but are rather unconsciously recorded for later recall. Thus, while the cassette theory suggests that dreaming is akin to a process of recall, after an occurrence, the received view says that it is comparable to an active conscious experience unfolding during sleep. Dennett also puts forward the possibility of unconscious uploading of memories during dreaming, where he considers dream recall representing the conscious experiences of the dream content. According to this view, the act of recalling a dream involves bringing to consciousness the memories that were potentially embedded or uploaded unconsciously during the dream state. Dennett suggests that a dream is first experienced consciously and then recalled, drawing a separation between the experience and the memory. The conclusion is seen as Malcolm's. There are epistemological and metaphysical problems with the received view. The recollection of dreams does not correspond to any experiences that occurred while one was asleep, especially considering that having a dream while asleep is not a distinct and verifiable phenomena. However, there are other possible objections to Malcolm and Dennett, but here I will discuss only about lucid dreaming, which applies to both of them. The concept of lucid dreaming presents a strong argument against both Malcolm's and Dennett's conception of the received view. Lucid dreaming, as I have explained, is a phenomena when individual is aware that they are dreaming. It exemplifies an awareness of the experiences during sleep, thus substantiating the notions that dreams constitute conscious experiences transpiring while one is asleep. Lucid dreaming represents a captivating phenomena wherein individuals gain consciousness of their dream state. It is so an individual become a director of their own narrative, shaping it according to their needs, desire, and intentions. Dennett's challenge to lucid dreaming is weakened by Stephen Laberg's experiments and explanation as he quotes, just as dreaming provides a test case for theories of consciousness, lucid dreaming provides a test case for theories of dreaming. So Thomas Metzinger and Jenifer Windt have highlighted important aspects of lucid dreaming and how they prove that dreaming should always be considered as a conscious experience. So the 5 points I have summarized here. The realization of that one is presently dreaming in a dream is not just within cognitive reach, but also accessible through attention as an experiential reality, complete intellectual clarity and coherence on par with or surpassing ordinary wakeful states. Third one is all five sensory modalities are perceived as equally operational as they are in a state of wakefulness. The fourth one is complete autobiographical memory along with unrestricted access to both short-term and long-term memory. And the final one is the fully actualized sense of phenomenal and functional agency. The immersive and expensive quality of the lucid dream experience sets it apart from other forms, allowing individuals to not only witness the unfolding of their dreams, but actively shape and explore the intricacies of their inner world. It opens spaces for exploring the depths of consciousness and the malleability of the dream realm, offering a glimpse into the intersection of our cognitive processes and the subjective experiences of reality. So I will reflect in brief on Laberg's experiments. So Laberg's contribution extend beyond mere exploration as he outlines experiments that establish dreams as conscious experiences. Laberg contradicts Dennett's assertion that we lack consciousness during sleep, as Dennett suggests that experience implies consciousness. Sleep implies a lack of consciousness. Therefore, the claims that dreams could occur during sleep implies consciousness and lack of consciousness, creating a contradiction. Laberg suggests that it is possible to have some degree of waking consciousness during dreams, especially in the case of lucid dreaming. To refute Dennett's view, he takes the sound of a striking clock as an example of an external stimulus that lucid dreamers may be able to identify and presumably react to. This suggests that some level of external stimuli can be perceived and responded to by individuals in the dreaming state. implying a form of consciousness. To refute Dennett's assertion, those who could dream lucidly were invited by Labag to actively interact with him in their dreams by directing their eye movements in a manner that corresponded with the dream content. The participants agreed upon eye motions were prearranged. One might set up a method of wandering about in a lucid dream beforehand to test both theories if lucid dreaming is indeed happening and if the direction of rapid eye movement is connected to the content of dream as it happens. Laba carried out the experiments with the participants with positive results. The interpretation of specific intentional and pre-arranged eye movement patterns, such as right, left, right, may indicate that sleeping person is having dreams and they are aware that they are having a dream. And if Labak's arguments hold true, Malcolm's third argument, argument against the received view, which claims that communication and judgment are impossible during sleep, is compromised. Labak's research proposes that it is possible to communicate while a person is dreaming and not wake them up at all. This supports the received view's assertion that we can experience a series of conscious experiences while simultaneously being asleep. Labak's experiments in this sense establish the received view of dreaming holds true as dreams are conscious experiences during sleep and communication can occur within a dream without necessitating the dreamer to awaken. The question which I proposed in the starting of this section, are dream experiences, holds great viability. Labak's experiments and analysis of lucid dreaming supported by clinical evidence demonstrating that the presence of consciousness during lucid dreaming provides a definitive response to this question, are dream experiences. In the context of lucid dreaming, to deny subjectivity to the dreamer would be equivalent to denying subjectivity to any other human being who, during sleep, exhibits rational thinking, sufficient access to short and long-term memory, the capacity to interact with the outside world, and subsequently asserts upon awakening that they experienced conscious and subjective experiences while in a state of sleep. Just a minute.
Can
So
you,
next, I before discussing the question about whether dreams are hallucination or imaginations, I will discuss in brief because of the time and everything that how dreams are conscious experiences and how contemporary philosophers have interpreted it. So, Windt, Ravensu, Metzinger, and Thompson accept dreams as conscious experiences, while Windt claims that dreams are in contrast to waking experiences, and anti-Ravensu and Metzinger. Thomas Metzinger argues that dreaming and waking depict the same experiences in terms of offline simulation and virtual reality. So Windt states that dreams are after all experiences in the sense of involving the phenomenology of seeing, feeling, etc. during sleep. Ravenso also thinks that evidence from lucid dreaming and dream enactment behavior proves Dennett cassette theory to be empirically invalid. Ravenso contends that as a unique instance of consciousness, dream should be considered worthy of study in the same context as visual awareness. He argues that the dreaming brain also captures consciousness in a theoretically interesting form. The claim is that dreaming is a remarkably uncommon example of pure consciousness, devoid of continuous perceptual information, and as such, it may be worthy of being considered for our further study. On these lines, Thomas, Thomas Metzinger also argues that dreams is entirely dependent on internal resources and is isolated from the external world. Representational content changes much quicker than in that waking state, and this is why dreams are more dynamic. Ravenso and Metzinger contend that dreams can reveal the true nature of our consciousness in opposition to Dennett and Malcolm, who maintains that dreams are not conscious experiences. Most importantly, there is a significant impediment to sensory input during dreaming, as sensory information seldom contributes to information processing, as seen in instances where the sound of an alarm clock becomes a part of dream narrative involving wedding bells. This indicates that, in terms of the outside world, the majority of other dreams are epistemically, epistemically empty. Never before that consciousness has been so disconnected from its surroundings and left to itself, as dreaming entails an awareness of the world perceived as real, like waking consciousness. Dreams are captivating and connected to our waking state of awareness. So, in a dream state, there is a kind of output blockade, according to Revenso and Metzinger, which makes dreams a particularly pure and isolated system. Dennett was doubtful that dreams would even entail consciousness, and Malcolm had maintained that there was no need for any scientific research on dreams because the idea was merely nonsensical. The bold suggestion made at this point is that dreaming should be promoted as a model of conscious experience and used as a research basket for consciousness studies. Ravenso posits that dream possess the ability to replicate any event from our waking life, suggesting that both dreams and waking experiences share the physical and natural instantiation of consciousness. Ravenso asserts that dreaming brain generates a form of pure consciousness. According to him, there is overwhelming evidence that the whole range of subjective experience, the entire phenomenal level of organization, does come into existence during dreaming. So, what is realism after having all this debate is refers to an approach where dreams are presented in a manner that captures their vivid, intricate, and sometimes surreal nature, aiming to provoke a sense of authenticity and emotional response. So, I move to the question: are dreams hallucination or imagination? And I find this question most interesting and most relevant for my research. So, hallucination refers to the perceiving something that is not present in the external environment. It involves experiencing sensory perceptions without corresponding to external stimuli. Imagination is the ability to create mental images, scenarios, or concepts that are not directly present in the external environment. It involves the mind's capacity to generate ideas and mental representations. The phenomenology of dreaming involves different kind of combinations regarding the case, like they are hallucination and involve beliefs. They are hallucination but do not involve beliefs. They are real imagination with beliefs. They are imagination but do not generate any beliefs. So discussing both of them in little detail. So first about the hallucination part. Traditionally, in the realm of philosophy, it has been held that dreams are more akin to hallucination experience during sleep, which is a philosophical understanding wherein the experiences are subjectively indifferentiable from actual perception, but no object external to the mind is being perceived. Dreams are thought to have the phenomenal character as that of the waking perception. Similar to the waking hallucination, dreams appear to allow us to communicate with non-mental objects. Dreams fulfill the philosophical definition of hallucination since they occur when there is no suitable concurrent stimulus source. The assertion made by Ravenso is the clearest example of hallucination theory of dreaming. So I quote him here, there is nothing in the experience itself, in the actual qualitative character of the experience, that necessarily distinguishes the dream experience from a corresponding perceptual experience in the waking state, and that the qualities of dream experience are identical with the qualities of waking experiences. So next I quickly move to the imagination part. Imagination is understood as the refutation of the assertion that perceptions are involved in dreams. During sleep, any conscious experiences are not perceptual but rather imagistic. The claim is that imaging differs from the typical waking perception in that it does not entail the experience of being within the world. According to Colin McGinn, who has written a lot about this dreams, images, and this part, and Jonathan Ichikawa, who has also worked a lot in dreaming and imagination. Dreaming is phenomenologically similar to daydreaming and imagining rather than perceiving. Additionally, they contend that there is clear distinction between perception and imagining, that these two types of mental processes cannot be sensibly positioned on a continuum. The question where dreams are responsive to will, much like waking imagination, is especially crucial for the imagination theory of dreaming. However, dreams appear to be controllable and instant happen to us, which possesses a serious problem for the imagination theory. Here, proponents of imagination theory contend that dreams are a result of unconscious authorship and are subject to the will, even if they are usually not under conscious control. According to this perspective, rare cases of lucid controlled dreams demonstrate that, unlike perceptions, dreams are typically subject to intentional and directed control. I will discuss little about dream belief. Ernest Sosa has worked and written an article titled Dreams and Philosophy. So, in addition to asserting that dreams are characterized by images rather than perceptions, a crucial tactic in supporting the imagination view is to contend that dreams are propositional imaginings rather than actual beliefs. So Ernest Sosa defends an interpretation of imagination view that holds that although beliefs and intentions are part of dreams, they do not necessarily translate into real life beliefs or intentions. While having dreams, we do not make choices, but in our dreaming state, our responsibility slackens. Sosa argues that one is not responsible for their choices in dreams, even in the slightest. He states, and I quote him here: dreams seem more like imaginings or stories or even daydreams. All fictions of a sort or quasi fictions. Even when in a dream one makes a conscious choice, one need not to do so in actuality, nor does one necessarily affirm in reality whatever one consciously affirms in a dream. So we cannot mistakenly believe that we are awake when we are dreaming. Instead, we can only imagine that we are if dreams are propositional imaginings. According according to this interpretation of the imaginative perspective, we are not allowed to have any incorrect belief during dreaming, including the delusion that we are now awake. Next, I discuss this before moving to the next section. I discuss dreams as immersive spatio-temporal hallucinations. According to Jenifer Windt, dreaming is minimally defined as having immersive and hallucinatory qualities. She argues that self-experience in certain dreams can be distilled down to pure spatio-temporal self-location, independent of the phenomenology associated with an embodied sense of self. This suggests that ownership of a body and a feeling of agency are not inherently essential for self-consciousness. She refers to this as immersive spatio-temporal hallucinations and suggests that a distinct sense of spatial and temporal presence is what separates dreaming from other mental processes that happen during dreaming. According to this definition, the deep immersive sensation of spatio-temporal presence is the most significant aspect of dream phenomenology. When it also makes a vital derivative hypothesis, namely that this definition can very well be useful description for state of consciousness rather than sleep. However, when I will move now to the next section where Thompson's description of dreaming as spontaneous imaginative experiences provides a more comprehensive and nuanced understanding of the dreaming state. Before discussing this, so I will discuss little about Thompson. Explain. It is Evan Thompson who has generated and gather my interest in working in this area of dreaming, who influenced me to work. So, in the scope of this paper, this is my final section. In the scope of this paper, particular attention is given to this to Evan Thompson, who has written a wonderful book named Waking Dreaming Being. So there are two reasons for this leapfrogging. First, there appears to be no compelling necessity to prioritize any particular plausible description, considering the lack of consensus within the philosophical community on a definitive account thus far. Second, and perhaps more crucially, Thompson's proposition is not only articulated persuasively, but also offers a more comprehensive and nuanced examination of the concept of dreaming and its metaphysical and ontological foundation. I am very much impressed how Thompson has amalgamated all the Indian viewpoints, also Advait and yoga viewpoint into his research. So Thompson has presented this in-depth analysis of concept of consciousness, stating that consciousness is that which is luminous, knowing, and reflexive. Consciousness is that which makes manifest appearances, is able to apprehend them in one way or another, and in doing so is self-appearing and pre-reflectively self-aware. These are three terms which we also find in Vedantic tradition. So I will quickly move to the next part, and how in the Vedantic tradition there is a distinction between gross and subtle consciousness. So Thompson also defines them and uses them. I will also use in this my paper. Subtle consciousness refers to more abstract and refined or less tangible aspects of consciousness associated with the dreaming state, involving subtle perceptions, emotions, and cognitive processes that are not as overt or readily apparent. Dreaming, for example, is a form of subtle consciousness as it entails more abstract, symbolic, and emotional elements that are not easily defined. In dreaming, we do not experience the outside world, create an internal world for us based on our imagination and memory. Dream cause awareness to turn inwards itself, which makes our consciousness experience the dream ego as the self. Dreaming consciousness appreciates the dream images found through subtle mental impressions arising from past experiences and memory. The description of dreaming implies that dreaming is a real conscious experiences that occurs during sleep in a form of mental images withdrawn from the outside world. Similar to the waking perception, dreaming consciousness unveils and apprehends the world within us. So, next, it becomes imperative to clearly distinguish between the dream ego and dream self, which is self within the dream and self as dreamer, respectively. We identify with our dream ego and believe that we are flying when we have a non lucid dream. When we have lucid dreams, we acknowledge that we are dreaming and that our actual selves or our dream egos are not the same. Being able to focus attention on the dreamy character of the state and consider it to be a dream is what distinguishes a lucid dream. Non-lucid dream lacks a kind of cognitive control with which with which we can regain in our lucid dreaming. This means that in ordinary dreams it is impossible to perceive oneself as dreaming subject if we do not have insight into the nature of our continuous conscious state. The level of meta awareness known as lucid dreaming allows us to deliberately focus our attention, stay in the current moment, or even come back to life. Consequently, we are able to recognize that we are dreaming that when we are actually dreaming. Lucid dreaming is characterized by this type of self experience. The sense of the sense of self changes as a result, and one starts to recognize themselves as both the dreamer, I am dreaming, and the dreamed, I am flying in my dream. So, lucid dreaming makes us experience both our dream ego and dream self within a dream. Thompson also provides this account of phenomenal and excess consciousness to define the term conscious. I think the time is running out, so I will quickly move to the final
Yeah,
quickly move
you
to
have
the
a You have a couple of minutes. Yeah.
I will quickly move to the final argument. So, as I have discussed that Jenifer Windt had argued that dreams are hallucinatory perceptual experiences, while Thompson provides a more comprehensive understanding and description of dreaming as spontaneous imaginative experience. In contrast to this immersive hallucinations, he defines dream consciousness as the ability to comprehend the inner world of our mental representations that occur during dream state. Memory and other processes related to concepts and imaginary play a major role in awareness. But first, it is important to understand the difference between imagination and hallucination according to him. When we have hallucination, we appear to be seeing things that are not there. When we imagine, we bring something that is not physically present in our attention, that is something that is not immediately arousing us at the moment. To give an example of this imagination, to imagine seeing a tiger is to create an image in one's mind. It is important to note that when we pretend to see a tiger in our mind, we are just imagining it rather than actually seeing one. This is true even if our mental image of the tiger seems exceptionally crisp and vibrant. So dreaming is an act of imagining rather not of hallucinations. To understand it in a better way, assuming that dreaming is similar to hallucinatory perception, an experience of flying in a dream would resemble the same sensory input as experiencing flying when awake. If dreaming is primarily imagination, then when we dream that we are flying, we are creating an internal picture of ourselves in the air and imagining that we are flying. I put it in another way, we imagine that we can fly and create visual representation that mimic the sensory sensation of flying. Our experience is product of imagination, not of hallucination. Therefore, to finally conclude, according to Thompson, what exactly is a dream? A dream isn't a random false perception. It's a spontaneous mental simulation, a way of imagining ourselves in a world. Dreaming must be understood as imagination rather than immersive hallucination perception. Dreaming is an imaginative state fueled by memory and emotions rather than hallucinatory state cut off from sensory inputs. Imagination is a part of dreaming consciousness in non-lucid dreams. It is the basis for our perception of the dream ego. Dreaming is a result of spontaneous imagination at work. It is not an offline hallucination. We are imaginative humans, not just machines that dream. We view the world imaginatively rather than experiencing the hallucination. So I think time is now done. Thank you very much. I hope I was able to make some sense. I am thankful to the IPN community for this wonderful opportunity. I am looking forward to the suggestions, feedbacks, and comments to develop and enhance my research further. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ayush, for that very interesting and detailed talk on dreams. Now the floor is open for questions. Yeah, Siddharth has raised his hand. Yeah, go ahead, Siddharth.
Just a second.
We can't hear you, Siddharth.
Not audible.
Hi,
Oh, not
hi,
audible.
Ayush. Sorry, I was saying
now,
there was
now
another comprehensive survey of various debates in the metaphysics of dreams. Thank you for that, and very interesting. A couple of questions. First is, while you presented a lot of, very different views in terms of, and they clearly differ. I can see how they differ in their conception of dreams and what dreams are. But I don't know if particularly one conception necessarily argues against and shows why the other conception is wrong. Say, for example, when you say somebody like Dennett and I don't remember the other guy's name, Malcolm, who are rather, in some sense, they are rejecting skepticism about the external world by appealing to dreams, like what Descartes did, but rather they are motivating a skepticism of memory, right? In some sense, they are saying that when you wake up, you remember a dream as though you actually experienced it, but you didn't experience it. You only remember that you experienced. So they are developing a skepticism about dream. Now it seems to me that anything that all the other views that you presented after that, say Flanagan's, right, can all
Thompson.
are all susceptible to the same skepticism about memory, right? I mean, you can study the rapid eye movement or whatever. All of that are still susceptible to this argument that yeah, all of this happens, but you still don't know whether you're having a subjective experience. When you wake up, you just make up that memory. For all you know, or in Dennett's word, you might only be audio recording, and all the behavioral or neurological correlates are only correlates of the recording, not correlates of subjective experiencing, right? So it might be helpful, or maybe it'll be helpful if you can exactly say how one argument, the later view that present would particularly respond, even if they don't directly respond. How do you think they could respond to the previous view, right? Uh, yeah, I think my second question was also something similar along the lines of this, but the same could be asked of Thompson as well, right? Well, Thompson says that he might define consciousness in a different way and so on, but then how does this respond to the skepticism about memory, which Malcolm and Dennett are in some sense motivating? Yeah, that's my question.
Just a second. Should I take all the questions and then answer, or one by one?
I think maybe you can answer this question and then move to the
Okay,
next one.
just a second. So, as I pointed out that people who are working in this dream experiences or worldwide people are working. So they start their research from Malcolm and Dennett. This is basically a literature review. So you're talking about memory, as I have said that Malcolm has said that dreams are not conscious experiences based on the report that we are not able to report when we wake up. So saying that dream are not conscious experiences just because we are not able to report when we wake up, I think it's somewhat problematic. I will not say false view, but when we see from the contemporary point of view, coming to the Jenifer Windt, who have worked extensively on dream experiences, a professor at Monash University, Melbourne, who has also a book which I have read, said that just because saying that we can't report dreams so that we are unconscious during dreams is a false view, because dreams, however we are able to report them or not report them, are conscious experiences. And about Dennett's view, who says that only there is a unconscious uploading of memories when we wake up. Or first of all, I say I pay my patronage to Daniel Dennett, who recently died and influenced my research a lot. So when he say that there is unconscious uploading during when we wake up. So while we deem there, here I take Thompson's stance or my viewpoint, how I understood. I might be wrong regarding the same, that there can't be some unconscious. I think when I take Indian viewpoint, which will be for I further dwell, which I will dwell further in my research, that when I say there is some unconscious thing while dreaming, or I see it as very problematic. There can't be some unconscious thing when I see from Advaitic point of view, which Thompson also defends, and I will also defend that. Going further, that witness consciousness, there can't be some unconscious uploading. If there is some uploading, it has to be conscious, whether memory or anything. So Dennett has said in this view. However, many people have rejected Dennett in this view. And lucid dreaming is also a very good case when we see both of their arguments, which I have also said that we are aware that we are dreaming, whether it's whether there is a memory or no memory or anything. So this is from my side. However, I am also working and trying to figure out. So these are some of my remarks, what you have asked. and will try to figure out more when I go further and read more. Maybe you are right in some points, so I have noted it down also. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Ayush.
Next, we have a question from Kishore.
Thank you. Hi, Ayush. So, my question is related to lucid dreaming. So, very interesting talk, first of all. So, in lucid dreaming, as you said, that we are aware of our dreams. It's probably like we are conscious of what we are dreaming. So, I wanted to understand the position of self in lucid dreaming in the sense like, when we are aware of our dream or when we are conscious of our dreams, does that mean that how are we positioning the self? Like as an observer that I'm seeing my dreams, or I can also intervene in my dreams, like change something in the dream. And a bigger kind of a question that kind of I derive from this is that what if someone says that what if the waking stage itself is a lucid dreaming?
Just a second. Just 1 minute. So first is about the position of self, what is our position of self in lucid dreaming. So I skipped one part, that's why this question is asked. I think Thompson's part, that dreaming can be distinguished in two forms, observer and field memory. So observer is when we have this, we have observing ourselves from inside, and field is like someone is observing us. So position of self is when we are lucidly dreaming, we have the awareness of both dream ego as well as our dream self. But when I talk about the normal dreaming, which has been talked about a lot, that we don't have awareness of this self. So I will suggest that this observer and field memory thing which I have skipped is the position of self which I. But your second question is much more interesting, which I can answer. It was like, what is waking state? Is it similar like lucid dreaming? This is the question.
What if somebody says the waking state itself is similar like lucid dreaming?
So as I pointed out that even philosophers who have worked on lucid dreaming has said it clearly that waking state had some correlation. Lucid dreaming has some correlation to the waking state, because we can have the same awareness like waking state, same control. We can control our environment and everything. But I will say this, that it's very difficult to practice lucid dreaming. On a lighter note, I have never experienced lucid dreaming. I have never. Only 4 or 5% people can experience lucid dreaming, and it's a very difficult stage to actually achieve. And one of the recent work which is going on this lucid dreaming, whether it is similar to like waking state is not, which I am also reading and working on, is dream yoga, which has been seen while we connect Tibetan Buddhism and stages of meditation, how it can be related to the waking state. So this is my possible answer to you.
Sure. All right. Great. Thank you so much.
Another question is from Barun.
Should I go ahead, Krishna?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Thanks, Ayush, for this detailed talk. Give quite a good picture of the landscape on philosophy of dreams. Actually, okay, you have to pardon. I'm just recovering from a fever. I don't have the usual energy and to formulate it properly. So hope I am clear as I'm going further. One of the questions that not the question, an observation that I made as you were presenting about the various debates that are there. It felt to me that, like, say, the benchmark, the criterion which is deciding whether dream consciousness can be actual consciousness or waking consciousness and all, or whether it can be hallucination, imagination. The central criterion seems to be the veracity, the ability to say that, like, say, I am in a state of consciousness in which I can say which is true and which is not true. That seems to be, like, say, the deciding factor. I mean, I think that is where most of the things fall into. I mean, like, if we arrange the whole field on, like, say, in this particular mental state, can I say something to be true or not? Then I can say whether I'm imagining, hallucinating, dreaming, I'm other awake or something like that. Memory and all, like, I don't know. I mean, Siddharth pointed out memory, and you also mentioned memory. I don't know whether, like, say, that seems to be the as big a contentious point in your presentation, at least. Now, given that, like, say, the veracity, the truth of what, like, say, I'm experiencing something, I'm hearing something, can I verify what I'm hearing, and the ability to double check that it is what I'm hearing? If that thing is taken off and it is not made the central deciding aspect, uh, then I think a lot of interesting openings will happen, in the sense that, like, say, for example, why should we consider that, like, say, the waking state as the consciousness, and everything else has to be qualified, dreaming, hallucinating, and all of those things. So why not we then say, okay, probably for waking consciousness, not waking, but like awake consciousness, there is probably, I can double check what am I hearing, what am I seeing? Actually, am I actually seeing a sofa or not? But in dream consciousness, I don't have that ability. As in hallucination, I might not have, imagination, I don't have. What would be your response to this?
Response to like you said, that in our awake consciousness, we are connected to our external stimuli. We might be hearing and seeing things around us. So waking consciousness is more, can be more related to the hallucination or daydreaming part. They are not different, because we are perceiving something as real. We are sometimes hallucinating while we are awake. Sometimes we
But in
just
daydreaming, you suspend most of the things, no? I mean, like, say, in daydreaming, actually, I don't know. I mean, like, I may be sitting in the class daydreaming without actually knowing that someone is actually calling me.
most of the things are suspended during a daydreaming, but I feel, or whatever I have read, that waking consciousness and hallucination can be more related, can be more connected, and dreaming can be more seen as imagination, because we can't we can't have a real perception or can see, like I have given the example of tiger, and which Ernest Sosa and many imaginative theorists have also used, that if I am imagining a tiger, I'm not actually seeing the one. I'm just imagining, or anything, for that sort, any example. If we are, sometimes this thing happens that if I think something in the evening or anytime, that dream comes. Our fears also are like that. If I am fearful of getting bad marks, or last night if I am fearful how I will present today, so that I might imagine, but I can't hallucinate. I can't see the real experience. Real experience can only happen at 10:30 a.m. at the IPN only. I can't experience that. I can hallucinate only. That I can, sorry, imagine only, can't hallucinate, can't have real experience. That only I can have when I woke up today morning at 9 a.m. Then I thought that today is my presentation, I have to get ready.
Yeah. No, what I was actually trying to do with this point is that, like, say, if we take the veracity out of it, the truth criterion out of consciousness, consciousness can be of a lot of things. I mean, where something can be considered to be true or not is probably the awake consciousness. Where I was trying to move towards was what Jyoti already highlighted was that, like, say, um, what if the self becomes the important criterion also? If we remove the truth criterion, but now become the awareness of the self. Awake consciousness, I'm aware that I'm awake, right? That the self-reflexive loop is present.
Mm-hmm.
which is not present in most of the other cases. Same is with dream. I mean, like I remember dreams where I'm not myself but someone else. So that's location. The locale of self is lost.
Yes.
So that probably doesn't happen in hallucination. I'm not sure. Daydreaming also doesn't happen. So that's I think is a very interesting aspect to consider. Anyways, I was just thinking through all of this. Yeah.
I will definitely. And this about this part, that self part. So obviously, it's still debates are still going on this part whether we have ourself. Only I think the clinical evidence and what's obviously dreaming work is more done in psychological and neuroscience. So they have found out that in lucid dreaming we are aware of our dreaming self, but they are not sure and still not sure that our dreaming self is active during ordinary dreaming, like this you are saying. But obviously self is there, but how can this be clarified or justified that self is there? There are no plausible arguments yet about this. And even if they are, I am not aware yet.
Thank you, Ayush.
Any other questions from anyone?
I see Shushrut Bhaiya here. Hi.
Yeah, hi. Sorry, I'm sort of in between a few things. But I think I tried to catch most of the lecture, but I'm not sure if I, missed something important. So I have a few questions, but maybe we can talk later at the happen. Yeah,
I
yeah.
just came to say
No,
hi.
but
Same institute, IIT.
right. No, let me just say this, that I'm a little more sympathetic than when I started out. So I think maybe that's your doing. So yeah, thanks for the talk.
Okay.
Maybe I can ask a clarificatory question. Now, I mean, where do you place dream experiences? I mean, rather lucid dreaming, if I remember correctly, or if I understood correctly, is when you're aware that you're dreaming, or like where is that right?
Lucid dreaming is a state when we are aware that we are dreaming. Actually,
Right. And so the awareness. No, sorry. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Sorry. Let me just, one second. Let me just see if. Yeah. Maybe I'll go to a different place. So, do you think? So when you say you're aware of yourself dreaming, so does that involve any kind of awareness that there is a difference between veridical experiences and the fact that I'm dreaming is non-veridical? Is that, and then how do I mean, within the experience itself, how do I distinguish? Because if I'm dreaming, apart, you take out the self-awareness part, what is there in the experience itself that can tell somebody that this is a dream and this is not a dream? So let's say I am, but you seem to say that the very act of self-awareness itself is enough to distinguish between, I mean, when you're in the act of lucid dreaming, you kind of know that this is a dream and maybe that something else is not a dream. I hope I'm clear in my question. I mean, I can say it in different way.
As I've understood, your question is what is like to dream and not to dream.
Yeah, I mean, especially when it comes to the lucid, I mean,
Part.
when you are in the state of lucid dreaming, you're kind of aware that you're dreaming. And so, yeah. So, I mean, I'm asking, what does that awareness add to the nature of experience itself? Because just being aware that I'm dreaming does not necessarily have to make the dream a dream, is what I'm trying to say, yeah. Because I could be aware that I'm seeing a cat, a real cat, but I could still be mistaken. It could just be a hallucination.
Yes, so about this lucid dreaming part, that I have said that we have the awareness of that we are dreaming. So about this part, like whether we are dreaming or not, or whether we have awareness of our dreaming or not. So lucid dreaming, we have our awareness fully and consciously, I think. And about this hallucination part, whether we are lucid dreaming or hallucinating, obviously, lucid dreaming after all is dreaming. So I think we are not hallucinating in this part. We are seeing something conscious, but at last we are imagining. But we are aware that what we are imagining. Like if yesterday night I have a dream that I am seeing a cat, like yours example. So obviously I'm imagining while I'm dreaming, and when I woke up or when I'm sleeping, that I am aware that I am dreaming. So I'm only imagining that. I have the awareness of experience that I am seeing a cat in my dream, who or seeing a dog who is chasing me. So that is not an hallucination. I am completely for imagination part. Completely in my thesis, PhD thesis, I am defending it completely that dreams are imagination. We can't be hallucinating. There are some exceptional cases or some exceptions can be made, but from my understanding, I defend that imaginations and awareness can only be found in the form of imaginations only.
Okay, thank you.
Next time,
Sure.
the interesting part of dreams, moral responsibility. That will also make some parts clear. What are moral responsibility while we dream? And that has been started since Augustine. Augustine had discussed about this. So next time,
moral. Okay, anyway, I mean, it's not fair to ask you questions about things that you're still developing, but it's interesting angle to talk about. Moral responsibility of dreams or to dream. Yeah. Anyway. Any other questions? Anybody else? Well, I mean, if there are no other questions, then I must say it was a great talk. Thank you very much for this engaging talk. And well, now I will dream about this as well. So thank you very much, Ayush. I wish you all the best, and do keep coming to our colloquiums to listen to others as well. Okay?
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Ayush.
Thank you.
Thank you.